Des Moines Library.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good afternoon. A while back, I was sitting with a group of librarian friends. I was shooting the breeze with them, and that inevitable question came up. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Invisibility was mentioned, so was flight. I've always fancied telekinesis, mostly because I want the remote control to come to me. But then I looked around the table, and I thought, but wait a minute. We're a bunch of librarians. We already have superpowers. Our power to find things, obviously, is, or at least it should be, legendary. We have other powers, however, that we may not even recognize ourselves. My favorite is our power to share what we know with others in our field, to share ideas, to adapt them for our needs, and also the needs of our patrons, and then to pass them on to our compatriots. I've recently been conducting some research on how libraries are creatively responding to the economic downturn, in fundraising, programming, partnerships, and so forth. When I share these ideas with colleagues, as I'm actually going to do this afternoon, I see their eyes light up, and they get that, ooh, I know how I can use that for my library look. I love that look. It's a fabulous look. That's a superpower. I love being a librarian. I love working amongst professionals whose natural instinct is to share their creativity rather than hoard it. To say, I have this fabulous idea, perhaps you can find it useful. I think that's good. This shared knowledge helps our patrons, our communities, and subsequently is then shared again with each other, exponentially growing our superpowers. That's far better than invisibility, by the way. One of the functions of a professional organization, then, should always be to facilitate the sharing of great creative ideas, and which are then adaptable and applicable for each of our served communities. Now more than ever, we need to come together and learn from each other, for our own survival, obviously, but also to remain deeply relevant for our communities. Libraries, their staffs, and the people we serve. These are my passions, which I hope to bring to the executive board, if chosen, and thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Next, Saul Andersky, Director of the Des Moines Public Library.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First, thanks to Louise for having a name that actually starts before Andersky. Hate being first. We hear a lot as we go to each meeting about passion and bringing passion to what we do. So I'm going to start with a little of that. It was something I did with my staff last year. So I'm going to ask you, do you believe in libraries? Have you embraced doing it? It really doesn't matter, because what libraries are about are connecting people to information and ideas. We're a bridge. What a library association does is create a collective power to help all of us create that bridge and make it a smooth transaction for our end users. What I am concerned with, and have been concerned with for a long time in several states and one Canadian province, is how we fund what we do. This is going to be an ongoing crisis in urban libraries, which I represent, but as we go along and the economy does whatever the economy does, it's going to be a concern for all of us. We're dealing with a lot of 19th and early 20th century legislation that I think a library association should be working on to amend or change. And I think the only way that does happen is through associations. And it takes all of us. But that's one of the reasons I'm very, very interested in working with the association in an executive board position. So I thank you for your time and interest.
Our next candidate is Sarah Doyle the Reference and Reader Services Manager at the Sioux City Public Library. Unfortunately, Sarah cannot be here today because of illness. The nominating committee spoke to her this morning, and she has asked us to read her statement of professional concern that appeared in the CAD list. Sarah has 9 years of library experience in Wisconsin and Iowa. So now for the next 2 minutes, thank Sarah Doyle. Okay, I appreciate having associations such as the Iowa Library Association where I can network with others whose professional interests and responsibilities are both similar to and different from mine. For example, we share the similar purpose of connecting our clientele with the best resources to meet their needs, though each of us may have a slightly different perspective as to how best we can accomplish this goal. The more involved I become with ILA, the more I realize how vital each individual member is to the success of the organization. I've seen from my time on the conference planning committee just how much can be done by a handful of people. It's empowering to be part of an organization that is big enough to get things accomplished on a large scale, but small enough that individuals are able to make a difference. I would be honored to serve you on the ILA Executive Board. Our final candidate is Tina Hansen. She is the director of the Milford Memorial Library.
Greetings. I feel like I'm among friends here, so I think I'll scrap the speech and just speak with you. The relevant detail for you to know about me is that I come from a small library background. I work with a community of just under 2,500 people, and I have for over 8 years now as director. Throughout my time there, I've told my board that I was looking for a job I could sink my teeth into. And I found that and then some, as I'm sure more of you can imagine. I have served 2 consecutive terms as the PR officer for Iowa's Small Library Association, and that involvement in the association has brought me more opportunities that I am fully thankful for, and more professional friendships that will sustain me throughout my career. I appreciate your consideration, and I feel perfectly confident that no matter which of our colleagues you choose to vote for, you will be well served. Thank you.